And that is it. The countdown is over. The World Cup is here, Qatar 2022. We've been waiting for 10 good years. It is finally here. And my name is Joseph Amwakwata. I welcome you to the Kente Business Journal TV. And we are reporting to you from Kahaya Lounge in East Legon on the Trasacco Road. Today we are discussing about the FIFA World Cup, specifically about the African team that can win the 2022 FIFA World Cup hosted in Qatar. Without wasting much time, I would want to dive right into my guest. I have with me Nana Kweku Dua. He is the CEO of Ajiman Consults. Nana, you are welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Akwa, for inviting me to the KBJ TV. I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
But this is always home. You're always invited.
Thank you, sir.
Anytime you want.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Next to him, we have Nana Kwame Kusi. He is the CEO of KT Tender Heights. Mr. Kusi.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure, Yeah, it's a pleasure,
It's bigger for me to have you on this set.
The same here, man. The same here, It's a nice opportunity, and it's good for African, So it's a pleasure to me, and I'm most grateful.
And then next to him, we also have Mr. Thomas Toto. He is the Director of Graphic Design on KBJ. He's actually one man I've been working with every day. Today, you see the man behind most of our graphic works that we've been posting.
Thank you, Eko.
You're welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. So let's get right into it. We've been waiting for 10 years. This is one of I can say is one of the World Cup that has, sprung up a lot of controversy. Someone will say Qatar threw themselves to the world to be scrutinized. What do you think about that, Nana Kwekuja?
I think it's only right that at some point, when you look at the importance of the World Cup, the opportunity to spread the love of the game, beyond Europe and South America and things like that. I think Qatar, within the Middle East, the fact that they were willing to embrace the opportunity to make history, I think is good for the sport. When we talk about the so-called Middle East, it is part of the global economy. We know football is a big economy, so I'm just glad they had the opportunity to present themselves, and it's okay. I'm happy they did it. I think it's a great opportunity. Unfortunately, it's not going to favor a lot of people because it's hot over there. But hey.
So speaking about Qatar, let's talk about the host nation. Every World Cup has a soul, and that soul is the host nation. Sometimes people say when the host nation is kicked out early, the World Cup is not so enjoyable, but I don't agree with that. We could see how South Africans, even though they were out in the group stage in 2010, it was all throughout till the final. We could feel the Vuvuzela has become the feature of the 2010 World Cup. What do you think Qatar is going to leave for us in 2022? Mr. Kusi.
Yeah, thank you, my brother. As my brother said, if you look at the infrastructure aspect, right, Qatar is telling the whole world that they are ready, they are capable, they have everything to do it, right? If you look at the infrastructure aspect, the team, these days we said everybody know how to play the football. It's not like it used to be like we have the powerhouse. Everybody is doing well. Like you said, South Africa did it in 2010, right? When they first eliminated from the first round, we thought that the World Cup is not going to be like we used to see, but hey, they did it. Qatar is letting everybody in the world know that, hey, they are ready, infrastructure, the plane, the players, and everything. You can see that they are ready. So everything is going to be okay. Let's the game start and let's see what will end. So I think Qatar are ready, and the rest of the world, we are ready. We're going to witness a lot of different things altogether in this World Cup. The Qatar, they are ready. They are ready. So let's see.
Okay, so talking about the infrastructure and all of the amenities that are needed to host the World Cup, the host nation also needs a team to participate in the World Cup. We always say the host nation has 12 men, adding their fans, giving them that strong backing. Mr. Toto, have you ever heard or seen about the Qatar national football team? And what is your take on them?
I think Qatar has been preparing for this World Cup, and they've put the men together. I heard they have a Ghanaian, so I think
Mohamed
Qatar,
Mintari.
yeah. So Qatar is really ready. They've been working at it, And infrastructure-wise, they prepared, and they have a team that could surprise us in the World Cup. So we wait to see.
You think Qatar is going to surprise us? Great.
I think.
Okay, so sorry, Mr. Toto. For your information, those who don't know, Qatar is one of the most cosmopolitan nations on the earth. The country has an official population of about 3 million people, which includes just about a little over 300,000 Qataris. The rest are all expatriates, and that is one of the reasons why the Qatar national football team is made up of people from all over the world. So heading into the next discussion, the World Cup will be having its centenary celebration in the year 2030. It's almost 100 years old. Yeah. Africa has never won the World Cup. Wow. Africa has never won the World Cup in all of its almost 100 years of history. It started in 1930. The first African nation to participate was the then United Arab Republic, today's Egypt, which was actually invited, not qualified. But the first team from Africa that qualified was Morocco. Today, let's talk about Africa's chances. What do you think will be the chances of Africa in 2022? Mr. Kusi.
Yeah, thank you once again, my brother. You know, as we said, we are in a global right. We are in a global world, right? And everybody is doing great. As my brother Riley said, if you go to Qatar, nobody thought that they're going to have a Ghanaian who is going to play for them. If you look at the France national team, 98, and the 2002, there are about 8 people coming from Africa. So if it tells you that if we do our things very well, Ghana or Africa is going to win the World Cup because we are ready. We got the talent, right? I once remember when our legend Roger Miller said in 1990, after the Cameroonian and then the England, if my memory serves me right, they asked him, is there any African team or any African country which is more better than you Cameroonians? He said, yes. There's a country called Brazil in Africa. When they qualify in the World Cup, the whole world will see. And that is Ghana, right? The first time we qualified 2006, we all saw what happened in Germany, right? So if we prepare well, do everything well like Qatar is going to pull a surprise. I don't have any doubt about it. I know one guy called Muntari, as you mentioned his name. I know him personally. Yes. He used to be at Okes and then moved to Tia Media and then moved to Qatar, right? Right now, he's playing a lot. He's playing massive game. So if Africans prepare very well, do everything nice, believe you me, as we were able to win under 20, we can do it. We can make it. If we do everything right, we do everything well, African team can win one day, African team can win even this World Cup. Believe you me.
I think it is long overdue. Africa has waited for far too long.
You said it all, man.
And if you mention that we are not doing some things right, Mr. Kwekudu, I want to come to you. What are those things that we are not getting? Because talent has never been a problem.
I think obviously we are not lacking talent. I think we have to look at a few factors. When we're talking about why African teams are not winning, well, African teams only get 5 countries to participate in the World Cup. Europe gets about 12. So obviously, the probabilities are in favor of the European countries. But in reality, I think even with the 5 countries that are participating in Africa, if the Africans are well organized from administrative all the way to the ground logistics of the players that they pick, I think with great organization, an African team can win. I think a lot of the African teams are lacking organization, opportunity. They really don't have a lot of respect for efficiency in organization. And when you look at the value chain aspect of how we organize our football, there's so many challenges within the process of how we organize our football. And I think when we figure out how to best organize our structure in a way to be globally competitive, to be profitable, then we can see that we can compete with any country which is a world-class team. Really, I believe this World Cup here belongs to the Africans. This World Cup belongs to the Africans.
Okay, quota. When we say quota, we're talking about the number of slots allocated to a continent or a confederation. Africa has 5. South America equally has 5, or even if more, it's about 6. So I think there's going to be an argument or a debate about South America has a total of about 5 World Cup trophies in their cabinet, combined from Brazil and Argentina to be precise. and Africa has none. Our best has been, you know, the quarterfinals. Right. And biologically, science tells us that the most athletic human beings are from West Africa. Well, we've had Senegal, Ghana, and Cameroon, all being close or on the West African, you know, region, reaching the quarterfinals. Do you think we are the source of our own undoings? Because look at the Youth World Cups. Nigeria are the record holders of the under-17 with 5 titles. 5 titles. Wow. Ghana under-17 has 2 and 1 under-20.
And then we've been to the semifinals many times.
Several times. We've been finalists in the under-17 several times. Mr. Toto, do you think we are to blame partly for our lack of, you know, success at the global stage of the World Cup?
We could just said the organization, we are not well organized as a team, and the way the team is being managed probably could be part of the reasons why we are not. The players are not giving their best, and the issues that comes with the team, the organization of the team. But I think we stand a chance now to do better. We've learned our lessons in the past, so we can, based on that, improve. So we wait to see what the team
can bring on board. Okay, so we wait to see what the teams can bring on board. We hope these African teams, the 5 African teams, namely Morocco, Tunisia, Cameroon, Ghana, and Senegal, have learned their lessons and prepared well. Let's talk about the European dominance. I want us to go back to that. Okay. Is it just unfair that Europe has 12 slots with the argument that they've been performing better? The only continent, actually the smallest continent on the globe, with 12 slots or even more at the World Cup. What do you think?
I think that goes to show you that the global system is manipulated to favor the Europeans to a certain extent.
So this is just an exhibition of what actually happens everywhere.
Well, I mean, this is just one example, right? As you're saying, it's an example of what other areas that they try to manipulate as well. Because when you really think about it, I mean, America fit into Africa about 4 times, and Africa only got 5 slots. And even there, we were lucky. After 1990, we got 5 slots because the Cameroon had went into the quarterfinals.
Actually, because the World Cup was expanded from a 24-team tournament to a 32.
There you go. You know, so when you look at the margin opportunity of the Europeans to win the World Cup, is very, very high. And you ask yourself, what criteria do they base this on? I mean, what is your argument of saying we'll have 12 teams from Europe to represent the World Cup while everybody else will get 5? I've never understood that, but it's a classic example of how Europeans try to find ways and means to either cheat their way to winning, or maybe they just think they deserve 12 slots. I've never really understood it, but it favors them, obviously, because we're speaking of numbers, and numbers mean everything. So it favors them. I don't think it's good. I think we should really look at that whole structure again and make it fair, because we are human beings. Maybe they think they should get 12 because Africans look stronger. I don't know, but yeah.
That's what it is. So if you just joined us, we are reporting or recording from Kahaya Lounge in East Legon on the Trasacco Road. We have fufu here, everything from local to international to continental dishes. Come right here to Kahaya. You will be served.
Great food. Great fufu.
Amazing. Okay, so let's talk about the African teams. I want to start with you. 5 teams qualified from Africa. It has been the case since 1994. Since then, 2 have been to the quarterfinals. Senegal in 2002 and Ghana in 2010. Is 2022 another good year for Africa?
It's very good year, my brother, once again. As me and my brother were having some discussion behind the scene. And I was telling him that, listen, it's about time Africans do better or do good, right? Because if you look at the weather, notwithstanding, they're saying that the best way to defend is to attack.
Exactly.
If you do our works well, prepare very well, infrastructural aspects, calling right players into right time, we can do a lot. Because if you look at 2009, we went to Egypt for under 20. We won the World Cup for the first time. They are the same boys who are playing right now. You know what I'm saying? So if
you were captained by Andre Ayew at the point of
exactly.
13 years later.
It doesn't matter. We have a lot of players out there, Paulo Maldini, Franco Baresi. Right now, if you talk about Cristiano Ronaldo, how old is he now? He's 37, 38. But is he playing active, right? That tells you that if you're ready to do it, we can do it. If you prepare very well, we do our infrastructure very well, we put the guys, I'm talking about the players, we give them good training, good logistics, everything well, we can go out there and exploit. Because African, like my brother said, we got a talent. Like Mourinho said once again, one day Africa can win the World Cup unless we prepare very well.
Yeah.
So
that's
talking about, yes, talking about what you just said, you said Egypt were invited, but right now we are playing the qualifiers. And it's not easy to qualify.
Exactly.
Look at what Ghana
Africa
did.
is actually the most difficult confederation to qualify. There are 3 rounds of qualifiers.
Thank you, my brother.
Yes.
Look at what Ghana did. Ghana did to Nigerians. When we draw the groups, the Nigerians were saying, "No, as for Ghana, we're going to beat them." Listen, it's about planning.
I don't mean to cut you, but just to add a little bit to what you're saying, you know, and that's why I feel like the Africans have a chance. Because when you look at the rivalry between Nigeria and Ghana, I don't know how many sports opportunities or sports teams or games or however you want to classify it that has greater tension than that. It's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of at stake. Oh my goodness, it's so much pressure that if you can play in Nigeria, you can play anywhere as a team. You know, so I think these kids are ready.
I remember. I don't know if you recall. I think it's US 94 when the US were playing the Saudi Arabians and the US lost on that game. You remember the tension over that match.
Whole politically motivated.
It's not the same in Ghana and Nigeria, but we have a football rivalry, a soccer rivalry. What I'm saying is, if we prepare very well, we do our works very well. We got a talent. If you go to our old players like Roger Miller, CBO, Haji from Algeria,
mentioning Roger Miller, I want us to concentrate on Cameroon's current team going to the World Cup. They are being led by one of the most potent strikers in Africa, that is Vincent Abubakar. He's been scoring day in, day out, whether for Cameroon, whether in his club. What do you think are Cameroon's chances in this World Cup?
Thank you once again. You want to say something?
No, go ahead.
Thank you, my brother. Let's ask ourselves, where did he play his football, professional football?
He plays in the Arab world.
You see? So it doesn't matter you play in Europe or whatever. It's about the skill, the talent, the power, the passion you have in the game. We all saw him in Cup of Nations. Look at what he did. Like our leader, Dede, has a leadership qualities. That's how Abubakar So Cameroon has a strategic team. Look at what they did to the Algerians.
Yeah, nobody expected, especially losing at home in the first leg. It's not logical to say Cameroon was
I was having an opportunity to watch the match, right? And I was like, these people, they're not going to qualify. I swear to God, man. I was like, oh, let me sleep. Man, I realized the Cameroonians on the last minute, bam! You see, the power they have, the passion they have, the love they have, their continent. It's not about Cameroon.
Do you think it is an effect of Samuel Eto'o being the FA president?
It can help. Yes, it can be, because he knows the game. He's been there before. Samuel Eto'o is one of the influential FA president the Cameroon has ever had. Yeah. Because on his influence, I never seen an FA president traveling outside the country, go and visit their players, give them moral support, talk to them, encourage them, and then they came back and they play the soccer, they play the game for the nation. So Samuel Eto'o, he did a yeoman's job. So that one got them more influence to the team as a Cameroonian national team, the indomitable Lions, and the indomitable them to, qualify, ahead of the Algerians. So Cameroon can, you see, and you wonder, we have Ghana as a West African, right? We got Senegal and then Cameroon, right? The Africans are, hey, they got to do well. they have the world on their hands, on their foot.
Well, remember, Sadio Mane is out.
Oh,
Sadio is out.
It's very sad.
It's very sad.
It's very
Okay,
sad.
so hold on Sadio Mane. We will come back to that. We want to take a short break. We will be back shortly. Short break. We left you on the Sadio Mane note, so we're definitely going to dive into Senegal. A lot of pundits are predicting Senegal to, go all the way. Samuel Eto'o actually thinks Senegal is going to win the World Cup. A lot of pundits think Senegal are going to be that team that Africa has been looking up to. Mr. Kwekudja, what is your take on Senegal's chances at the 2022 World Cup?
At first with Sadio Mane, I had him in top 3 teams that can potentially win the World Cup. But with Sadio hurt right now, of course I'm still confident with them. Anything can happen in football, but I feel like their chances have lessened with Sadio being injured, which is a big blow. I'm so hurt about that young man not being able to make it to the World Cup, man, because he's such a prolific player. He's done so much for his country. He deserved to go to the World Cup, but I have a feeling the Egyptians just maybe had prayed for his downfall.
But that is an unconfirmed information.
Of course, that's an unconfirmed. I'm just making a wild assumption because I know what he did to Egypt in the qualifiers and what he did to him in the African Cup of Nations.
They definitely have a bone to contend.
Of course, we all Africans and they wish him the best and everything. But overall, I just feel like it's so unfortunate that he has not made it to the World Cup. So, yeah, I think their chances are very, very, it's not as great as I thought it would be with Sadio Mane.
But, Mr. Kwesi, let me come to you. Senegal has one of the best squad depth at this year's World Cup. When you take France or even Belgium or Spain out, I think Senegal is one of the most well-stocked team at this 2022 World Cup. Do you think without Sadio Mane, they are still going to go far?
Sure, why not? Sorry to say, let me go back to what my brother just said. Sadio is making Africa proud. I'm so proud of him because of, aside the football, what he's doing for his society, And when he combine that into his performance on the field of play, he's doing marvelously. I just want to find out. I just want to know that is he ruled out or the Cameroonians
it
or
has
the
been
Senegalese?
confirmed. Yesterday was
so
confirmed.
he's excluded.
He's not going to play. No,
Shit.
He's not going to play.
Because I was thinking about what happened to Paulo Franco Baresi on US 94. He got injured on their first match and they fly him back to Italy. And Italy were able to qualify on the final match, and they flying back to the States. And the final game, come on, man, come watch the game. So, well, let's go back to Senegal. Senegal has a compact team. It's very sad that their influential leader and their strong man, their talisman is not there. But I know that the rest of the players, they have power, they have any reason to put the Senegal out there. So, without Sergio, that can motivate them and let's say, hey, Kwaku is not here. My brother is not here. So without him, are we not going to do anything for him? Let's do something for him to motivate him, to let him come back and say, my guys, you did well. So Senegal,
I think his
right.
presence in the team will be very, very instrumental. Even if he's going to be just among the
he's going to be a great motivation.
Yeah, my brother, you're right. But let me say this. Let me add this. Aside that, the players too can motivate themselves and say, listen, our leader is not here. What are you going to do? What are you going to do for him?
Actually, an opportunity for someone to step up into the shoes.
They're saying if
so
every
they have
know, they say yes.
a huge task ahead of them.
So the guy, the rest of the team will say, oh, let's do something for Kwebe.
But experience. You guys are. It's an opportunity for anybody to step in and be obviously great. But at that level, missing someone like Sadio with significant experience and the technical understanding of the game. It's just a big blow.
But Senegal has proven beyond doubts that they are not a one-man team. If you look at their performances in the past,
they got their compact
they have
team.
The quality. I think I'm right to say or to compare them to the golden generation of Ivory Coast, where they had so many good individual players, but it was difficult to, they were not so compact. They were not so. That's why they struggled to win AFCON until 2015. But this Senegalese team, they have the individual talent, and when these guys come together, they produce magic.
No,
So
I completely believe you.
I beg to differ. I think Senegal, the team, will not miss Sadio
Do
Mane.
you know something?
You think so?
I think so.
Do you
Oh
know-
my goodness, that's a very strong
To
statement.
some extent, they will
Yes.
miss him because he's a leader. Do you know going to the 2006 World Cup, Ghana has the most defensive midfield in the world, and our team was very compact than any other team in the world. But it's a rather unfortunate Brazil beat us from 116, right?
We just showed
But
them
we
too
were
much
having the
respect.
best defenders in the tournament, best midfielders in the tournament. Because at that time, we were having Muntari, Ricardo, Essien, Stephen Appiah.
Ping pong.
Pimpon was a striker.
Yeah.
Right, but that was then we include our current coach, the Otuado, and we were having a compact team. But with Senegal, they have a compact team. It's very sad, it's very painful that their leader, their talisman is not there. But if you look at their players, the Idris Ghana guy, they have a compact team,
Even
man.
their goalkeeper
I mean,
is the best goalkeeper
I mean,
at this year's Ballon
listen,
d'Or.
watch out, the world should watch out for Senegal. I'm telling you.
Well,
they won't-
hopefully they're giving the African teams the kind of respect they deserve, because the
they
African
will
teams
do
are
a lot.
I
kind of
think
playing.
the other African teams will ride if Senegal does well. They'll ride on Senegal's glory to also, make sure that we make a statement this year.
I'm not saying that everybody's going to do well. Seriously, in spite of the Senegal, listen, the first time anytime Ghana go to a tournament with underdogs,
Yes, status.
we explode
We
something.
do well.
We did something. We shocked world. We shocked everybody. So let's not draw our strength on. I know we'll come there. So let me not rise to that place.
So, this World Cup is in the Arab world. When we talk about the Arab world, it transcends beyond several continents: Asia, Europe, and Africa. North Africa is being represented by Tunisia and Morocco. Let's start with Morocco. What do you think about Morocco's chances in this year's World Cup? They're actually in one of the toughest groups with Croatia, Belgium, and Canada. What do you think about Morocco's chances?
Our North African teams always do well, but they never qualify. They never go past a certain stage, but they do well. They've proven over time that because of their, they always do well when it comes to playing with the European teams. Most of them because they play outside and they are well motivated. So when it comes
I think the not to catch you, but North Africa traditionally has gone with a homegrown team. It's just recently we're finding out that quite a number of their players are going to, especially France and Spain. So I think you can continue from there.
Yeah. With Morocco, Tunisia, I think they will also hold the African. They'll take the African flag far.
Because if we look at the last Arab Cup that was held, the 2021 Arab Cup, it was actually, it replaced the Confederations Cup, which used to be the precursor to the World Cup every year. In the semi-final, we had 3 North African teams. We had Algeria, we had Tunisia, Egypt. Okay? So
Classic rivalries.
yes, it's just amazing. I believe this is going to be the year of the North African teams.
You also
in the World Cup.
Really?
I do
So
believe
wait,
that.
you are favoring Senegal, and then you also favoring the North
Well,
African teams.
I'm pro-African. Anything
Right.
Africa, I'm there for them. Yes.
Of course.
Because I think this is the Africans' chance in this World Cup. Africa,
Someone would say 2010 was our chance.
Well,
Because it was
in
being played
2010,
in Africa.
We won the Under-20 World Cup in Egypt, and then we transitioned to the World Cup with great spirit, and we did great as well. I think if we had VAR in 2010, maybe the African teams would have probably won the World Cup. Maybe VAR was introduced after what happened with Ghana and Uruguay.
Yeah. There's several examples why VAR came on.
I think
You
so.
can take the England-Germany round of 16 game in 2010.
Yeah.
So
and sorry, so let me say this. When in 1986, I think it is 86 when Diego Armando Maradona had
the famous hand of God.
The hand of God, yeah. But if you put all of them together, what my brother is saying is true, because if VAR was introduced in 2010, you could have known that, or you could have seen that the referee would never host him for a penalty. The ball,
Yeah,
it was a goal.
across the line.
Uruguay.
Besides that,
hey,
we're having about
yeah.
three penalty kicks.
You know that. Let's hold on.
Hold on, a lot of
This argument
consideration.
will
It's-
never end.
It will never end. I agree.
It may be
You're right.
settled.
Uruguay, we are
You're right.
waiting for you.
It will be set. It may be settled.
You're right,
We look
I agree
forward
with
to
you, man. I agree
Ghana
with you.
playing Uruguay, and let's see. I hope the players don't go with a revenge
Yeah,
mentality.
you're right.
I
you're right.
do believe Morocco is long overdue
Great.
in being able to advance in World Cup competitions.
Yeah.
You know, they have a great local league in Morocco.
Actually, one of the best.
One of
in
the
Africa.
best in Africa, if not the best in Africa, heavily invested. And I feel like when it comes to continental African competitions, the Moroccan teams representing local leagues in Morocco do very, very well. I mean, when they go to the Champions League in Africa, they usually win it, right? So I feel like it's an opportunity for them to shine in the World Cup and to bring the prestige of Morocco's football into the limelight. Hopefully they're able to really showcase their talent with some young players who are involved, I believe, in the English Premier League and other influential leagues around the world as well, especially the French League, yeah.
I can tell you for a fact that most of the Arab countries are strongly behind the North African teams. You know, these Arab countries are hugely populated by migrants from North Africa. So it's going to be a massive den for whoever plays against any North African team. That is why I believe they do have an advantage in this year's World Cup. So moving on to Tunisia. Tunisia is one of the teams, I would say they are perennial underachievers, even in the African Cup of Nations. Until they hosted in 2004, they had never won it before. Is it going to be the same old story? They have never gone beyond the group stage. Their best performance is getting 3 points, and this happened on 2 occasions, in 1974 and then in 2018. Is Tunisia is something going to work for them this time around?
If we go by your analysis, we're supposed to completely write them off. But one thing we know for a fact is that if you are an African team that comes out of Africa into the World Cup, if you qualify from the process that you got to go through, the tedious process that you go through to qualify to the World Cup, if you are an African team and you qualify, I think you should ride on that momentum to go and do great things in the World Cup, because it's not easy to come out of Africa. I believe the African Cup of Nations is probably one of the toughest competitions in all global. It's so underrated, but I think is one of the biggest and strongest competitions of all global soccer competition. And I think Tunisia qualifying from a tough group in the African process of qualification has the opportunity to prove that it wasn't a fluke that they qualified out of Africa.
Yeah.
Right? So on paper, we're supposed to write them off, but I have a feeling that they might get through the second round and do a lot better than we expect them to.
Yeah, great. So before we come to Ghana, all these teams, including Ghana, is being coached by an indigenous coach from all the countries.
Okay.
Out of the 5, Senegal is the only team that had an African coach before this World Cup. It was after the before the qualifiers. It was after the qualifiers that the other 4, I don't know why, it could be coincidental, but everybody went in for a local man to manage their teams. Is that going to work for us this time around?
You know, you see, at that level of competition, I've said this before and I'll go back to it again, and then you know, everybody have an opportunity to tell me what they think about it, but at that level of competition, everybody's in great shape. It comes down to your formation versus my formation, or your system versus my system. You know, and I feel like the Africans over the years have been managed by foreigners who are importing their system into the indigenous African system way of playing. For example, when you come to Ghana, for example, Ghana has a system of playing where if you bring a foreign coach and they try to restructure their system, a lot of the times we find it very difficult to adopt a new system and still be efficient. So I think it's a good thing that they're all utilizing local coaches, because it allows them to be able to create from within and not be interrupted or distracted with other sources of our systematic way of doing things, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so before we talk about the Black Stars of Ghana, I want to give a special shout out to our brothers in Nigeria and South Africa. We are here because of you. Enyemwanka. If it hadn't been for you, okay, we wouldn't be here. So you should know that we are representing you. The reason why we are here is because we are better than you. But keep supporting us. Okay, so Mr. Kusi,
That's a fact.
let's talk about the Black Stars of Ghana. We've seen how a lot of things have gone on. The collapse has been scrutinized so many times by almost all the media houses. We have played our friendly game. We won. There's still a lot of, rumors and issues. People are saying, the game wasn't a tough game, blah, blah, blah. What do you think is Ghana's chances? Because this is the World Cup that we are going in as the lowest ranked team. We are 61st in the world on the FIFA ranking, and we are part of the top 32. That should tell us something. What do you think about Ghana's chances?
Thank you once again, my brother. But before I start, let me go back and say what my brother was saying about the question you'll be throwing to him that our coaches, right? Just recently, yesterday, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, I saw that our own player, Asamoah, has secured FIFA license B or whatever coach. Listen, of UEFA, good, thank you so much. Of late, our players didn't go through that process. I think that's why our leaders went to the Europe to bring the coaches over there. If we're able, if our legends, our old players, to go through the coaching, come back, give what they learned to the society, it could have been maybe going like we were saying, Samuel Eto'o influence, motivate the Cameroonians. If our players who have played the game before, who have been there before, took that mental study and learn and bring it to the society where they come from, I believe it will help us. That's why this time around we thought that no, Otuado has been there before. He brought this boy, now he's making waves in the whole world. Yeah. The Haaland. Yeah. He scouted the Holland to the Dortmund, and the boy has saying that he will never forget Otuado in his life, because if it wasn't him, the world would have known him. So right now Otu is given the opportunity. Back to the Ghanaian team, as you said. Listen, we have a talent, as you all said. If you do our works very well, no matter what, Ghana can able to do something, or Ghana can do something. In spite of the whether we do our things right or we don't do our things right, we got the talent. Listen, we got Thomas Tepate in our team, right? We got Mohamed Kudus. I know Kudus one-on-one. I know a lot of the players. I know Kudus.
Yeah.
Right? We got Jiku, Daniel Amate, Dede, and the Jordan. I was one telling my brother that no good coach will ever sit Jordan on the bench because he's a team player. And yesterday, I was so happy to listen to one of the personality sports. Okay. He said, listen, after the game, the whole world was saying Jordan was the best in our team on a friendly match between Switzerland, because he holding the ball, having the free kicks for us, kicking the balls to our strikers, and he played very well. We got Jordan, we got Dede, we got, look at that short boy. He's my boy on the match.
Fatao.
No, Tariq Lamptey.
Tariq, yes.
He's a very tough customer. Listen, if you know football, you have played football before. If your striker is short, if you have a tall defender, it will be difficult for a defender to tackle the striker who is short. And if your defender is short and you are tall, it's very difficult to tackle, to go over the shortest defender. And look at his size. You remember the old days, Frank Amangwa? You remember the old days, the British former player, the Sparker? He's like this, but you can't go beyond him. We got a lot of talents, right?
Even look at this boy. Messi.
Look at this boy. Thank you, sir. Look at this Samed. Samed that he played on Lens on France. We got a lot of boys. We got Bukhari, we got Kamara, Dean Sulemana. We have a lot of young guys who are coming. And that's the most important thing for Ghanaian team is a lot of people don't know them.
Yes.
By the time they realize, they will be taking them by surprise.
Okay, so we'll be playing the cards of the underdogs.
Exactly.
Okay, so let me move to Nana. I want to hear your view on how preparations has been so far. off the pitch. In 2014, Ghana's last participation in the World Cup, I think we were undone by our backroom incidents, which later translated onto the field. Have we done our homework this time around?
You know, that's a great question, you know. There's a great saying by our first president of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah. I'm not quoting him verbatim, but in paraphrasing, he said, the African greatest challenge is organization. You know, because we're always looking for shortcuts to success rather than appreciating the process of organizing for the long term. See, so I feel like 2014 was a great lesson for all of us. I'm just not sure if we were able to learn anything from it. Because right now, when you look at the team right now, we have an abundance of talent in Ghana, as he's saying. But it doesn't mean because we have an abundance of talent, anybody is qualified to go. Yes. You see, we have some players who have proven to be very, very consistent with what they can do best at the highest level of competition, and they are not a part of this team. Hello, Mr. Pencil. I'm sorry you did not make it. Hello, Mr. Afinijan. I'm sorry you did not make it. Hello, who else?
Jeffrey Schlupp.
Jeffrey Schlupp. I'm sorry. You guys deserve to be at the World Cup.
I think that is just a testament of the talents that we have. Because looking at the past, let me say 4 years, I think it's the first time in a long time that we haven't had a consistent call-up. Every single call-up comes with new faces. Yeah. That should show you how competitive our selection process has been. Yes. It could be a blessing.
It could be a curse from a perspective of if the back room uses this opportunity to be corrupt, then it becomes a disaster. Because my grandmother used to say, you don't plant corns and eat yams. You understand? So I feel like with the abundance of blessing, of talent that we have, if we don't take organization seriously, competitions like the World Cup, we will forever be useless at these events. Because it doesn't make sense that Ghana has been playing. I mean, the first black English Premier League player is from Ghana. Arthur Wharton. Yeah. This is like, what, 1897 or something like that? You know, it's from Ghana. You know, we've been playing soccer for over 100 years. You know, we should have been won the World Cup a long time ago. You know, so I feel like organization is causing the ability to really bring the best talent out. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me add a little bit to what my brother said. Football is a teamwork. You can't just go along with somebody for, let's say, 2-3 weeks and then drop him and bring somebody just a few minutes so that he can fit into it. No, he cannot.
It's a structure, yes.
Yeah, it's a structure. And we started from somewhere. Like he was saying, for about 3 or 5 years now, every time we call up, we call new players. It's not going to help. You know, look at Jeffrey Schlupp. Look at Afenejan. Look at Joseph Pencil. Look at Majid Ashimero. These are the people they're supposed to be in our team. Because we are going
that's
to
up
compete.
For debate.
Right. You are going to compete to the whole world. Mm-hmm. And going World Cup, it's not like you are going to going to the playing ground to do whatever you want. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So we have to go with everybody is coming for their quality players. Mm-hmm. Let's go to the South American countries and see. Look at the Brazil. For the first time, they're crying out. The Firmino is not coming.
Making it.
You know, come on, you name them. Go to Argentines and see the players they are bringing. Go to Argentines.
And Uruguay.
You look at the Uruguayan team. Look at the people they are bringing.
Okay.
And look at the Portuguese.
Yes.
The Ruben Diaz, the Cavallos.
I think you are just leading us into our next point of conversation. All right. So let's start up. I think let's just,
so what
wrap
I'm saying,
up on Ghana now.
To wrap it up, to long the story, what I'm saying is we have to go to those who knows them, those who are good, those who can deliver to Ghana. At least it won't be a victory for Ghana alone. But as you are saying, Africa. So we have to go and compete to the world, bring the best we have, not somebody who is playing a Division 1 and you call somebody who is leading our striking role, helping you to qualify, and you drop him. Mm-hmm. It's not going to help us.
Yes, it's not going to help us. I hope our coaches and team leaders we'll be watching the KBJ. And before we move on to the next segment, I want to use this opportunity to thank all our subscribers so much. For the very first time, we have almost reached about 500 subscribers on this new channel and want to show appreciation to all. We see everything that is going on and we thank you so much. All the people from all across the continent, it's not just Ghana, from Morocco, the people from Cameroon, we love you all. And continue subscribing and sharing our posts to other places and other networks so people can join this great family as we bring you, as we say, intrinsic grassroots information. Okay, so moving on to our next segment, let's talk about some factors that is going to affect the outcome of this World Cup. Football, dear, yes, they are grown form. Other things affect the outcome. We'll be wrapping up very soon, so let's just brush through these. It is because of the harsh weather conditions that we are playing the World Cup for the first time in the winter. What do you think is going to be the effect for certain teams, especially the Europeans?
It's very interesting how they said it's winter and it's already about 30 degrees Celsius over there.
Exactly.
They talk about it's winter. You know, I mean, honestly, I think for the first time, somehow nature is working in the Africans' favor. You know, the Africans' natural climate is a hot weather anyway. The Europeans have 12 teams coming into the World Cup. If they are not able to stay in the heat, I feel like it's not going to be able to favor them, or they're not going to be able to benefit from the ability to utilize their systems properly on the field. Heat is energy, right? So when you are being drained with energy and your body is not compatible to it, I think it can become a problem. I think the heat or the weather chances in Qatar is going to favor the Africans very, very significantly. And hopefully they can take advantage of it and run like they have lost their mind on the field to tire the other teams who are not used to that kind of climate, right? I think if the Africans come onto the games and they play with high intensity energy, they are able to tire their opponents a lot quicker just because of the fact that those guys are not used to the climate or whatnot. That's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong.
Okay, because of time, let's just move to the second topic, Mr. Kusi. This is the first World Cup happening in mid-European season. The players, it's just logical to know that most of them are carrying minor injuries. Some of them have not even mentioned it to their staff members. It is going to play as the World Cup goes on. Do you think the break in the mid-season in Europe is going to have an effect on the performance of the teams, especially from Europe?
Oh yes, it's going to have a lot of impact, and not even the Europeans, but for we Africans.
The Africans, well, majority of our players play there.
Yeah, because you know that, or you agree with me that about 90% or 99% of our players are now playing over there. If you come to Ghana national team, our players, we have only 2 local-based players, right? Or about 98% players who already played in Europe, you know. So they are familiar with the same weather. And you know, even for some of us who live in Africa, you can see that the weather is different. And compare the weather into the Qatar, it's different and altogether. So irrespective of playing in Europe or the Europe, it's going to affect them. But my problem is, for so many years, they give us 5 slots. You have 12. Now I hear the next World Cup, there's going to be
9 for Africa.
9 for Africa,
and 18 for Europe.
It is too much.
That's like double of Africa's chances.
I'm praying.
Wow, they're not able to compete? I mean, like little head-to-head? That's a whole different conversation.
It's going to cost a lot for them because, you know, they fixed their calendar already and now they have to stop the league. Let's go for the World Cup. They have minor injuries. When you follow their calendar, these are the time when we are going to the Christmas. Those, you know, they play their league on Christmas and so on and so forth.
Yes.
So the injured players will sit down and allow those who are not injured to come and play.
And it's going to affect the league as well.
It's going to affect the league.
So many things are going to
everything
change.
Definitely is changed. So the change must be positive for we Africans, right? What my brother was saying about Africa, sorry to take you back. I was once happy that the Algerian coach had invited the Hakim Ziyech into their team. I was fighting with my mind.
That's Morocco.
The Moroccan. I was fighting with my mind with the coach. I said, this guy is playing very well.
Yeah.
He knows how to play. Invite him.
I think there was a feud between Hakim Ziyech and the previous coach. So I think that Walid Regragui, who is now Morocco's coach, has opened the way for.
And that is why I said I'm so happy now. He's listen. It's not about Ghana alone. It's about Africa. So let's all 5 African countries who are qualified to this World Cup go out there, exhibit what we have to the rest of the world, so that the Morinos who are saying that Africa is capable of winning World Cup to vindicate our land. Yes, because we can win. Last brother, we have that talent.
France won the World Cup in 2018 with about 90% of Africans.
That is my next one. I'm coming. Listen, I had opportunity to talk to, sorry to say, Mercedes.
Yeah.
And he said, listen, if you guys give me the coach, Kwaku, I've won the World Cup. I won the European Cup. I got, let's say, 5 Champions League on my bag, right? So I got money. So if I told you, Michael, listen, stay here. When the ball comes, don't go. Play the ball. He will never move. Like Essien was doing for Mourinho.
Yes.
Like Mikel Obi. That's why he wasn't sit down when Mourinho was the coach at the Chelsea. He go according to the coach instructions. So if you have that kind of coaches, and you know that he's even more than what do you call it, Frank Lampard and Gerrard and so, because he had World Cup to his credit, 5 Champions League, European Cup, you know, and as a coach himself. We have to have those guys in our team to coach, to direct us, because when it comes to the field of play, he has more than what you have. So he's going to give you a good thoughts, good skills, and then good plan, and then you move on. Okay. That's all we have to do.
All right. So I think basically what we are trying to say is that the mid-break in the European season is going to be a huge advantage to Africans and maybe South America as well. Let's wrap up with the host nation. Qatar put their league on hold since I think August or September. The team has been in camp ever since. The only team that has had a head start, if this was a 5,000 kilometer race, they would have been 500 meters ahead already, because everybody just has 1 week to put their teams in camp. Qatar has had about 3 months. Do you think it is going to translate?
Of course, that will do something for them. That will really help them in this tournament, because they've worked as a team for that long. Compared to the other teams, they are now trying to put themselves together, but that will help them. We want to see Qatar do well as well. It will be in the host nation. We want to see, but we are all for Africa, and we think that should be Africa's tournament.
Yes, Nana Kwekuja, your take.
Oh, I mean, honestly, I think, of course, Qatar, as a host nation, we all wishing them best. It's close to Africa. It's not too far from Africa. A lot of their players are Africans. You know, yeah, I mean, I wish them best. I think they have spent a lot of resources to be competitive at this World Cup, and hopefully it pays off. But other than that, I have my own predictions.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Okay, so coming to the predictions, let's just wrap up this whole, conversation or discussion with our predictions for the entire World Cup, including the African teams.
Yes. So let me say this on a contribution to what my brother just said, or what the question you threw earlier. Listen, football or soccer, as the Americans called it, is a teamwork. Remember, let's not forget, Kwaku, when the Germans knew that the Brazil is going to host 2014 World Cup, do you know what they did? They go to Brazil, build the German village. They have the football facility. They bought the property. They bought the vast land. They built training grounds over there.
I heard even their water throughout the tournament was from Germany.
7 years. Look at what they did to the whole nation. They beat them 7-0.
This is like the story in the Bible.
So what he's talking about for the Qatar, right? They have now 7 months ahead of everybody. And let's not forget that
it's about 3 months.
3 months. 3 months is not easy. Yeah. And let's not forget that team football is a teamwork. It's a more preparation. Now, if you have an injured player, they have been sorted all these things, doing their loopholes and everything. Let's not everybody forget the surprises may come from them, because they already have enough time to prepare themselves like the Germans did. As soon as they knew that Brazil is going to host the World Cup, they go to the Brazil, build the German village, and then camp their team 7 years before the World Cup starts. And that's we all witnessed on what happened. That's why they were able to lift the cup as the winners. Yes. So the Qatar, you know, for them to have 3 months ahead of everybody, we have to be very, very, very watchful about it.
Yes. Let's just hope their hard work pays off. Let's take our predictions and then we wrap up today's discussion. So, Kwekudja, give me your top 4 semi-finalists in this World Cup. Who do you think will be in the top 4?
Honestly, as much as I'm a bit disappointed with the selection process with Ghana, we have more than enough talent to honestly cause any kind of problems in any competition. I'm picking Ghana to go into the semifinals, if not all the way. I have been, just because of the fact that I've always felt that if we are able to consolidate the amount of talent that we have, even at a 50% level, and we use proper organization to support them with the right resources, these boys can go out there and make history, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm not counting them out because I feel like we've been able to make some improvements that I think will move us forward. So Ghana, Senegal.
Wow.
Yeah, okay, as much as Sadio Mane is not there, I think it's going to be a motivation for them to be able to move forward. So Ghana, Senegal, and then I'm picking Brazil because they have a very in-depth super squad team. And then I can't count my country out, man. It's not my country, but I've always loved them in football. Germany.
Great.
I've always loved the German football. I think it's one of the best.
German machine? Wow, German machine.
German machine is very powerful engineering, right? So I think they are one of those countries that are great in technical abilities, and they are able to make magic happen in any competition. So I'm picking Ghana, Brazil. Senegal, Brazil, Germany.
Okay, great. So, Mr. Kusi, your top 4.
Okay, top 4 is going to be difficult, but hey, I have to do it. You know, when it comes to Southern America countries, I'll pick the Argentines, right? Yeah, the Argentines are the powerhouse. I'll go for the Argentines. And when it comes to the Europe, I'll go for Belgium.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go for the Belgium because they have a very, very compact and quality team.
Yeah.
And it's about time now for them to do something.
People are saying this is the final opportunity for their golden generation.
Yeah, if they don't do anything, I'll write them off in my mind. So in Europe, I'll go for the Belgium. In Southern America, I'll go for the Argentines. When it comes to Africa, as you know, I'm a Ghanaian. I'll go for Ghana because I think Ghana, we have the quality players, we have the talent to do whatever we can do, right? And for the Asia, I'll go for Koreans.
South Korea?
Yeah.
So are you saying Ghana and Korea qualify from the group?
That would be the best thing for us.
Please,
because
there's going to be a cash prize on this prediction.
The Koreans, if you listen to the analysis, they said they have analyzed all the teams.
Okay.
But they don't know.
But let's not write them off. You know, in 2018 they beat Germany.
You don't know. People have been writing them off. But as for me, I will never write them off. That's why I said the Asian. I'll go for the Koreans.
Yeah.
Right, because they are the Asian champions. Right.
Okay.
And for the Middle East, I'll go for the host nation. They can do something.
Nice.
Yeah. I hope when the host nation do well, it will help the World Cup, it will help the tournament. And looking at the way they have prepared, it took them even 12 years to prepare.
Yes, from scratch.
Yes, they have. People don't know they have prepared very well.
Yes,
man. If it will get you to know that they have Brazilians, they have Africans, they have blended the team like France did. Somebody say France national team is a United Nations team because everybody.
For facts, Qatar actually started building their team in 2005 before even winning the bid.
Like the Belgium. Kwaku, if you look at the Belgium national team, you can see them player by player. They have qualities.
Okay, so Mr. Kusi, because of time, let's take
good. Thank you,
Mr. Thomas's top 4.
I'm looking at an underdog surprising us all in this World Cup.
Yeah.
Experience plays a role, but I'm looking at a team because for years there have been teams, African teams that have tried.
Yeah.
So I think I pick Qatar and Korea.
Okay.
Coming, and then of course the African teams. But Brazil, we can
Write them off.
we can't. No matter what we do,
Okay.
Brazil can still do their thing.
Yeah. Okay, so myself, I it's very simple. I don't want to talk plenty. I believe I'm Ghanaian, you know, very realistic. I know we will do very well. We may get to the quarterfinals. I will be satisfied with that. But I think for Africa, I'm looking at Senegal. Senegal doing well.
The Brazilian national team,
Yeah.
whenever they come with a lot of players, they flop. Look at the 1990. They have
Yeah.
Careca, they have Blanco, Alimao, and so on and so forth.
I
but look at what the Diego Maradona and
I will
Xhaka-
also tip Brazil to make it to the top 4. And then it's funny, but I think Qatar will do well.
Wow.
And then maybe
You have Qatar in
oh yeah.
as number 3. Okay.
And then I'm not so sure about them. I think England, they've been pushing closer
The
to
football coming home.
they've been pushing closer to, you know,
Okay,
trophies.
Saka, yeah. I mean,
They've been pushing closer to trophies in like since 2016. I think England, they've won the under 17, they've won the under 20. I think England.
oh, they won the under 20.
Yes.
Oh,
in
last year.
2017.
Oh, 2017. Okay.
So I think England may be in the top 4.
It's the underdogs pull a lot of surprises. If you
Yes.
look at the Costa Rican team, they came on the last World Cup.
Yeah.
Look at what they did. Look at the Croatians. So the underdogs, they'll be watchful.
Yes.
We have to take good care of them.
So, sorry guys, we are out of time. This argument or discussion, I bet it's not ending after we are cutting the video. You're just not lucky to continue to listen to us. This has been our take on which African team can win the World Cup on the Kente Business Journal TV. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and also clicking on the notification bell to stay updated every single time we post. My name is Joseph Amwakwata, and from the Kahaya Lounge in East Legon on the Trasako Road, this is bye-bye for now. Thank you.